For all your pastry, bakery and quality food, CK Restaurant is the only place to be. We do catering for birthdays, weddings and all related services. We have all kinds of local foods, American, European and even beyond. Come and have a taste of our local juice, ebe and other services. At CK Restaurant, customer satisfaction is our priority.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Diwli lanni maro lanni
fop lanni
awa joni mi anda honno gerde ten e ngaldo sabu e ngaldo Ibrahima jonnal taw joni mi anda se yahay kapitiki nyawloden ha humpondire makko est ce qu'on non e warude
waden no
ane ko de Ibrahima ma ko to woni
mo Amerique
ko Amerique a woni kede humpitaki fi be musibe men baluwo be andanda kala ko wawda wonde e aduna si arrivi e juude mabbe a jonnay do dépassement Gambia har no weebi ayata kadi taw ko mbudi din no jawi walla no jippi be halanta ma ko kala ko falda ko reise sengo nyamete ili neppa maro basal pomme de terre kala ko rewi don a hendo to har no weebi kadi wona dum don tu be abbe jonnira e mobile phone siko dum kadi laptop kala ko wayrode di ay kasbawa be wawma jonnute kadi sa fala humpitade ko weebi ettu Google account ma joni data ton wada download app mabbe on ayay kala ko humpi may mabbe ton be weebi yama
ka wonda wo e aduna on
kala ko wawda
a jonnana e wondo ka leydi men Gambia do dépense
harano weebi yama si dum no fono nebi immo den joni mi do tama ka place mabbe jan
waden joni
iya heba ko fala
waden kisam.
Procedure is for the co-chair to welcome all the leaders, the representatives of major institutions who are partners with the IPC, and the members at large. Unfortunately, National Assembly responsibility has prevented the co-chair who usually handle that responsibility not to be available. My responsibility is to prepare the documents, and I should have been in the background, and that's why I was not here. I was coordinating with Thomas so that we can give you the presentation of the strategic plan which has brought us here. We definitely should not keep you sitting just for our sake. We therefore really apologize for the late start. That said, it is important to know why we are here and why these honorable leaders are here to accompany us in our journey as members of the IPC charged with the responsibility of implementing its Memorandum of Understanding. We have come to realize that without this type of conversation among the political parties and constructive conversation with our population, it is inconceivable that we'll have a stable political environment for holding any multi-party contest. The reason for establishing the IPC is to promote dialogue and consultation among the political parties so that together we create the environment that will enable each of us to perform to our best potential in discharging our function as the apex institution that should provide the representatives, the candidates, who ultimately will enable the population to have the choice to select their leaders at all levels. The political parties are therefore the most significant institutions in this country, since they provide the base for the selection of the leadership of this country. In that regard, we welcome you and we congratulate you for moving with the IPC up to this level, the final level of determining its strategic plan for the 5 years that we have charged ourselves the responsibility of presiding over the affairs of political parties in this country. That said, I believe the prayers and everything had already been done, so we'll go straight to business by inviting the UNDP resident rep to deliver a message, and we'll continue in that regard. And ultimately, after the delivery of their messages, we will introduce the leaders of the political parties or their representatives before we have a break, and then prepare the ground for the delivery of the strategic plan for your validation. Apparently, they are yet to be here, so we'll therefore invite the ECOWAS resident rep or the representative to come and deliver your message.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ali Fatou, for giving me the opportunity to make a statement at this strategic planning validation meeting. Your Excellencies, Honorable Party leaders, civil society organizations present here, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. On behalf of the President of the ECOWAS Commission, His Excellency Jean-Claude Cassibrou, and the special representative of the President of ECOWAS to the Gambia, Madam Thaba Gayflo, I would like to take the opportunity to express my profound thanks and appreciation to the people and government of the Republic of the Gambia for their relentless efforts in the consolidation and advancement of democratic governance in the country. I do appreciate the fact that ECOWAS is regarded by the Inter-Party Committee as a key partner to be part of this strategic planning process. There is a saying that if you fail to plan, then you'll be planning to fail. I'm therefore very delighted this morning to be invited to the strategic planning validation meeting to make a statement on behalf of ECOWAS. What is symbolic about this validation meeting is that it coincides with the commencement of the voter registration exercise across the country, which is part of the democratic process in the Gambia. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this 5-year strategic plan that has been articulated by the Inter-Party Committee with the support of the United Nations Development Programme is coming at the appropriate time because it captures relevant activities meant to engage all stakeholders, including political parties, politicians, members of the National Assembly, the judiciary, the government, security forces, civil society organizations, development partners, the media, and the private sector. So this is a moment for us to work together. It is a moment to synergize our efforts in order to have free, fair, transparent, and peaceful presidential election in December 2021 and National Assembly election in April 2022 that will ultimately have an impact on the consolidation of democracy, not only in the Gambia, but the entire ECOWAS region. Simply put, a strategic plan is a management and planning tool for decision making and resource allocation. Furthermore, it provides an approach to better respond to external forces, bring key stakeholders together in broad consultations on the way forward. These will feed into the operational plans that will be implemented at the regional and community levels to address both the structural and proximate causes of conflict. More importantly, it defines the fundamental roles and responsibilities of the IPC in the electoral and democratic processes. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, honorable party leaders, it is gratifying to note that there are at the moment 18 registered political parties that are poised to participate in the forthcoming elections. There are more in the pipeline, the more the merrier. This means that the political space has been broadened to accommodate inclusivity and political participation, which is in consonance with the provisions of the ECOWAS Supplementary Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance of 2001. So my presence here, therefore, is a clear manifestation of ECOWAS's steadfast commitment to support the IPC in its efforts towards the consolidation of national cohesion, peace, and democratic governance in the Gambia. The ECOWAS permanent mission in the Gambia has built invaluable goodwill and relationship with the IPC and been able to nurture the partnership over the years. In furtherance of this, ECOWAS will continue to support the IPC in the realization of its objectives that have implications for generations to come. Despite the devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on all facets of life in the Gambia, the IPC has done a fantastic job by putting the document together that has reached its final stage of validation. I therefore crave the indulgence of participants to meticulously and objectively examine the document so that at the end of the exercise, the Inter-Party Committee would be proud of having a well-articulated strategic plan that can be utilized to mobilize resources for effective and efficient implementation for the next 5 years. At this juncture, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is important to emphasize that this strategic plan does not seek to solve all the problems. What it does is to conduct a clinical examination of issues as they are right now, and from there project into the probable path that may follow in the future, and then prescribe effective best practice solutions to them. It is not intended to be a quick fix or a one-stop shop. It is designed deliberately for the people to derive maximum benefit that can only work out in a period of time. It is therefore our hope that the solutions will meet the high expectations of the people of the Gambia. Finally, I conclude by wishing us all a successful and rewarding validation exercise that will be desirable for the future of democratic governance in the Gambia. I thank you all for your kind attention.
We thank you too. That was a well-tailored speech. We are inviting the director, NDI, to come and also give us his remarks.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Co-Chair, please permit me to stand on the already established protocols. On behalf of the National Democratic Institute, NDI, we are very delighted to be part of this discussion. I bring you the goodwill from my office, both here in Gambia and my head office in Washington. For us, we think that this is a very important meeting, particularly now that NDI is also consolidating its relationship with the IPC. Earlier this week, we signed a memorandum of cooperation with the IPC to work with them from now up to the period of the election in December, and hopefully beyond that period. And so this meeting is coming at a very, very important period, particularly as we envision a relationship beyond the election period. So having a strategic planning document in place that will give us a clear picture of where the IPC will be heading in the next 5 years is very critical for us to engage our donors, particularly if we identify other areas for support going forward. And let me seize the opportunity to thank the UNDP and the ECOWAS for the support that you are also giving to the IPC. And already we are in consultation with the UNDP. Myself and Thomas, we have been having consultative meetings to compare notes and to see where we can synergize and collaborate to avoid duplication and to reinforce each other's activities. So, and it was very heartwarming to see that when we were having the memorandum of cooperation with the IPC earlier this week, we invited the UNDP and he was there. So we have already started that partnership. So hopefully we will also reach out to the ECOWAS to compare notes to see where we can all join forces, since we all have common objective of strengthening the IPC as an institution to support multi-party democracy in the Gambia. Just like the co-chair said earlier, the role of the IPC is clearly well known to all of us. And we know that without the political parties, there will be no democracy. The political parties indeed are the guardians of democracy. And for them to play that role, it is very important that they not only have the capacity, but they also have the institutional framework for them to engage both now and in the future. So the very beginning is having this strategic planning and that will give a clear roadmap of where they are heading. So after this event, we would like to sit down with the IPC and the other key stakeholders to see where we can come in, so that after the election, we will see where else we can, pull resources to support the IPC going forward. So let me leave it at that point, and I look forward to the further discussion on this. So thank you once again for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now it's time for us to have our first coffee break. We have already taken part of our time, so it should not last for more than 15 minutes.
Insight comes from hindsight. And that is why this strategic plan is not about the future. It's about the past, present, and future. Because IPC has been on a long journey towards finally realizing its fullest potential. In that journey, there has been drawbacks in terms of institutionalization, and that is why you can move up so that we can see what this strategic plan is all about. A strategic plan of the Inter-Party Committee 2017 to 2022. A big surprise, isn't it? The reason for this is because IPC has been operating since 2017, but due to technicalities, we could not have the self-determination we wanted. And from this strategic plan, you will know why. You'll also know where we are, and you will be clear as to where we go from here. The plan has a vision. We envisage the emergence of a country where dialogue and cooperation between political parties and constructive national conversation with the people serve to foster a peaceful and stable political environment. We further envisage the building of a political system which enjoins all to recognize the legitimacy of a duly elected government and its right to govern within the Constitution and the laws of the country, and the right of the opposition to operate freely and hold government to account. We hope to build a democratic and tolerant society so that despite the retention or change of government through the ballot box, all citizens would work harmoniously to promote government based on consent. Government based on consent in the interest of national unity, development, and the common good. We also have a mission. We are ready to put the past behind us, and in the higher interest of the Gambia, work constructively towards national reconciliation, consolidation of democracy, good governance, respect for fundamental human rights, due process, and rule of law in the Gambia. In words and deeds, we reaffirm our commitment to participate without causing any division on the basis of ethnicity, gender, religion, age, or other considerations to create a level ground for multi-party contest. We undertake to safeguard the independence, impartiality, and integrity of the Electoral Commission, eschew electoral crimes, and cancel adherence to the Code of Conduct of the IPC and the IEC in order to ensure free, fair, and credible elections. We are ready to resort to judicial proceedings to challenge and alter questionable electoral verdict through election petitions and accept electoral results that reflect the unalloyed choice of the people. The IPC has a history, and that's why we talk about hindsight. Before we know where we are, which gives us the insight into the committee. The Inter-Party Committee is an institution designed for crisis prevention, management, and resolution, and for peace building in the political domain. Its emergence is connected with the establishment of an independent electoral commission, which is responsible for the registration of voters and political parties, the conduct of free, fair, and genuine elections and referenda, as provided for in the Constitution. The constitutional requirement imposes on the IEC the duty to register parties that are not formed on ethnic, sectional, religious, or regional basis, and whose internal organization conforms to democratic principles. The IEC is to ensure equal access to public facilities to all candidates during elections. When the 1997 Constitution came into force and the Provisional Independent Electoral Commission was dissolved, an Independent Electoral Commission was constituted under the chairmanship of Bishop Tilowo Johnson. The IEC introduced a consultative and advisory forum with the political parties to promote dialogue with the stakeholders. This was marked by holding periodic meetings with all the registered political parties to address concerns and grievances. The consultation was designed to take a formal character when the Commission convened a meeting in 2000, inviting many prominent personalities to witness the establishment of the IEC Consultative Forum with political parties. The meeting was aborted due to the removal of the chairperson of the IEC. The consultative process received a setback. The arrest and detention of NAT leaders in 2005 and their trial attracted the attention of the AU, ECOWAS, and the Commonwealth. Mediation efforts were carried out by the commissioning of the stewardship to President Olusegun Obasanjo, the then president of Nigeria. The end result of the negotiation was the signing of a memorandum of understanding establishing an inter-party committee in February 2006, aimed at promoting constructive dialogue between the political stakeholders. The inter-party committee eventually became dormant due to disputes between the representatives of the government and stakeholders in the opposition. The task to revitalize and rejuvenate the committee started on the 7th of April 2015, when the UNDP recognized the need for a consultative mechanism to address the political challenges ahead of the 2016 presidential elections. All political parties and the IEC were invited to discuss the merit of revitalizing and restructuring of the inter-party committee. Resolution to promote restructuring and revitalization was agreed by all political parties registered by the IEC. The political parties held stakeholders' consultative meetings on a periodic basis from April 2016 onwards to review the 2006 version of the Memorandum of Understanding of the Inter-Party Committee with the view to revise and update its content as the context determined. After months of engagement on the task of redrafting of an MOU that is fit for purpose, the ruling party and the opposition finally agreed on the text of a draft memorandum aimed at impacting on the 2016 to 2018 electoral cycle. The executive, however, rescinded its decision to partake in a signing ceremony to adopt the draft memorandum before 1st December 2016 presidential elections. The change of government on the 19th of January 2017 gave rise to new political realities. The political parties responded to the new political situation by agreeing to hold a signing ceremony on the 7th of March 2017 to adopt the new Memorandum of Understanding of the Inter-Party Committee. Thus, you can see why the strategic plan is starting from 2017. The Inter-Party Committee has now resolved to institutionalize and operationalize the Memorandum of Understanding. Thus, we must look at certain elements. First, the policy directives and strategic objectives of the Inter-Party Committee. A is institutionalization and operationalization of the MOU. The fundamental policy directive of the IPC is to institutionalize and operationalize the MOU within a period of 5 years. This includes the strategic objectives being clearly defined. You see, the strategic objectives on the institutionalization and operationalization of the MOU are as follows. 1, preparation and adoption of instruments governing the institutionalization and operationalization process. 2, preparation and adoption of the programmatic policy documents. 3, ensuring the operational functionality of the institutions of the IPC at the national and regional levels. 4, preparation of a work plan on activities to attain goals. Then the programs must be defined to attain the strategic objectives. A, the preparation, validation, and adoption of framework documents. That's the instruments. The institutional and operational framework documents of the IPC have already been drafted, validated, adopted, and put into force. They comprise the Memorandum of Association, Article of Association, and other instruments required by the registration for the registration of IPC as a corporate body under the law by the Registrar General. These instruments have mapped out the structures, functions, governing authority, management, staff, administration, and procedural mechanisms and processes of the Inter-Party Committee. The Registrar General has accepted the application for the registration of the IPC. The IPC now enjoys all the rights of a corporate body registered under the Companies Act of the Republic of the Gambia. B, preparation and adoption of the programmatic policy documents. The programmatic policy documents comprising the institutional framework, the strategic plan, the sensitization programs, and work plan to institutionalize and operationalize the IPC are either in place or are simply on hold for validation. C, ensuring operational functionality. The governing authority of the IPC has acknowledged the strategic significance of launching a sensitization campaign among its membership in particular and the public at large on the content and context of the MOU. The committee recognizes the indispensability of training of the members of its national and regional sensitization teams prior to undertaking their sensitization missions. The sensitization activities are in progress. The committee has been assessing the quality and relevance of the training programs and is of the view that whilst training in general on principles of democracy and peace building is relevant, focus should be put on the MOU of the IPC and the relevant laws, procedures, and practices which govern the functioning of the political parties and the electoral system and mediation skills. This fundamental objective should inform the training and sensitization work plan of the IPC. The IPC has also conducted monitoring of its forced sensitization activities and has presented reports assessing the quality and relevance of the programs. It has prepared sensitization models and monitoring benchmarks to guide implementation. The committee resolves that monthly training and sensitization programs should be conducted to enhance the possible competencies of the sensitization and monitoring teams and raise the awareness of the electorate in particular and the citizenry at large on the laws and values that should govern a democratic dispensation in a country. The adoption of training and sensitization as the first building block in the institutionalization and operationalization of the MOU is designed to give relevance and visibility to the IPC and its code of conduct. The next strategic focus has been the creation of the pillars for building institutional structures. The key strategic focus currently is to make the institutional framework and structures operationally functional. The committee has established its headquarters with its secretariat in partnership with UNDP and ECOWAS. There is need to appoint its chief executive officer and staff, create its appointment, establishment, and finance committees, and adopt its work plan. This should be followed by the appointment and training of members of the regional branches on the general instruments, policies, values, procedures, plans, and programs of the IPC to ensure the good governance and management of the inter-party committee at the regional level. This would ensure congeniality among the members and the sound and proper financial management of the funds and properties of the inter-party committee at the regional level. Now that we know where we are and where we came from, where then are we to go from here, the way forward? The committee intends to provide capacity building to its members on how to dispose of complaints received from member parties, IEC, and the government with efficiency and effectiveness, and find tangible remedies to promote compliance with the MOU and enhance the integrity of the IPC as an indispensable institution in the prevention, management, and resolution of conflict in the political domain. IPC will encourage its members to participate in elections monitoring, to be enriched by other experiences, conduct study tours to find out how similar institutions function under other jurisdictions, and even share its own experiences. The IPC will collaborate with the IEC to monitor registration of voters, undertake research on election matters, formulate recommendations for electoral reform, and ensure effective electoral administration in accordance with the provisions of the protocol signed by the government. The IPC will organize workshops and seminars on voter education, electoral administration, and inter-party democracy, as well as internal party democracy, intra-party democracy, in collaboration with the IEC and the National Council for Civic Education. The IPC will cooperate with other African and international institutions concerned with the promotion, protection of the rights of citizens to participate in peaceful, fair, and genuine elections. Then we prepare the work plan that should accompany the strategic plan to tease out the priorities. It says that initiate a 2-year consultancy contract for the initial operation of the Office of the Executive Secretary, Finance and Administrative Assistant, and Program Officer to fill the gaps in the administration of the headquarters of the IPC. B, conduct training of staff and interns on proposal development, bookkeeping, maintenance of asset register for the properties of and properties of the IPC, as well as procurement. It goes further to highlight, C, inaugurate the IPC National Secretariat. This event will not only raise awareness about the mandate and responsibilities of the IPC, but will raise its profile as an apex institution in peace building due to its capacity to promote political tolerance among stakeholders. D, apply to the IEC for permit to monitor registration of voters under a non-partisan platform and mandate. E, ensure the translation of the MOU and its incorporated code of conduct and conduct sensitization on its content through mass distribution of copies in schools and other training institutions, broadcast in the electronic media, and publication in the print media. Joint sensitization campaigns by political parties will serve to commit all political actors to the provision of the code and promote peaceful coexistence among political parties. F, initiate roundtable discussion on the need for statutory architecture of the IPC with a view to transform it into an institution with a standalone act that is fully financed by public resources. Expected outcome. Headquarters will have a transitional administration, which will address IPC's administrative, management, programming, and operational needs. The level of awareness and understanding of the content of the MOU amongst the citizenry and the role of the IPC would increase. Registration of voters will earn greater public trust and confidence if monitored jointly by all political parties under the IPC. Mediation and peace building among political stakeholders would increase. The statutory role of the IPC would be instrumentalized. So the activities that we anticipate to carry out to fulfill goals is activity 1, consultancy contracts to fill 3 IPC administrative posts, performance target date, June 2021 to June 2022. Activity 2, training of staff and interns on proposal development, bookkeeping, asset register management, and procurement, performance target date, June 2021 to July 2021. Activity 3, inauguration of the IPC National Secretariat, performance target date, June 2021. Activity 4, monitoring of registration, performance contract date, May 2021 to July 2021. Activity 5, distribution of copies of MOU, translation of content of MOU in national languages and media, and regional sensitization on content, performance target date, June 2017 to June 2022. Activity 6, roundtable discussion on the statutory architecture of the IPC, performance target date, June 2021. Risk and prospects. The IPC has embarked on the trajectory of self-determined development, but is yet to be self-reliant in financing its activities. It is largely dependent on donor support to finance its programs and activities. Once donor support stops, its activities are likely to cease. Such dependency is unsustainable after its 5-year period of operationalization and institutionalization. It is therefore important to prepare the ground for its evolution into a statutory institution that would finance its operations from revenue allocated by an act of the National Assembly from the Consolidated Fund. Members, leaders, this is the strategic plan, and ultimately, if adopted, will prepare the cost for its implementation. Now, you can tear it apart and put in it what you want, and ultimately all that will be taken on board so that we prepare the plan for 2017 to 2022, bearing in mind that as we move towards 2022, after all these elections, we are likely to sit again and prepare the ground for the next 5 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Co-Chair. comments and contributions are invited from the floor. Anyone who wants to contribute or who wants to comment, please raise your hand and you will be given the chance to speak.
Good afternoon to every members of the IPC and party leaders, co-chairs. My name is Kerr, an IPC member representing APP. I think what we had here, or what we read here, Honorable, we have to give applause to these people who were trying to put this in place, because these documents to me is really attractive, and I have to say thanks to everyone who lay your hands to make sure that this document is in place. Thank you so much.
Once again, my name is Bakari Sise, National Youth President of PPP. I want to express my gratitude. We've been waiting for something like this, I can say for almost our lifetime. This can address the difficulties we are facing in our political arena for the lifetime of this country. And now we are having the chance to make sure we can have dialogues between the parties and we the youths of this country. We really, really appreciate this. You paved a way for us to walk into this political arena peacefully, and we are looking forward to start our works. Thank you very much.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tijan Baji, a representative of Ghana, Gambia Alliance for National Unity. I just want to show my level of appreciation under the strategic plan that has been disclosed by Honorable. Well, it is a way forward for the young Gambians to understand this strategy, and then also not only understanding it, but having the right mechanism, the right knowledge on how to move on to carry out these strategic plans that have been well instituted by the members of the IPC. So I really appreciated how the strategic plan has been, it's been laid down, and then I think and I guess it will serve as a way forward for the country at large to use this opportunity to make sure that we build a better Gambia as we all belong to. So on that note, I would like to thank all of you.
Good afternoon. My name is Abdurrahman Jallo, Gambia Party for Democracy and Progress, and also National IPC member. I will not claim that I'm the spokesperson of IPC, but I very well know that everyone national IPC are very, very happy today, because we have come to a day when we have to validate the strategic plan that we have created 5 years ago, and we have struggled really to come to to reach this juncture. And then we want to take this. I want to take this opportunity to thank Honorable Sarah and all those people who have been involved in the drafting of the strategic plan, and also UNDP for always being a very, very supportive partner. They have been supporting us from the onset, and I just want to also acknowledge their efforts and all the partners who have supported us to reach this level. What I want to comment on this is that this is our roadmap, and this is what we need for us to be able to understand where we are heading, and I think this is very well articulated. Our objectives have been made clear, and the resources that we need are made clear because as he said, we really need IPC to be a statutory body. We cannot depend on donors. As he mentioned that if the donors cease from funding us, it is highly likely that our operations will cease because we will not have any source of funding other than the donors. But if you are a statutory body and then we have government subvention, at least if donors stop, we'll at least have some amount to do operationalize until we receive we have partnership with other donors or other grants from donors. As such, I'm really pleading with the IPC. Immediately after the election, let us come together and see how this will be. We'll carry out this process of making the IPC a statutory body. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Samba Bande. I'm IPC National, representing the Gambia Democratic Congress, GDC. Well, first of all, I have to say a big thank to our co-chairs, our able co-chairs, for coordinating us up to today. And we have a lot of intent in this document. Now, to operate this properly, we need the cooperation of each and every one of the political parties, especially political party leaders. We need your support. We need your encouragement, because without you people, it will be very difficult for us to achieve what is there. And the donor agents as well, we cannot overemphasize how appreciative we are of what you have done for us, because without you, we would not have reached this level today. So therefore, we thank you all to the depth of our hearts, and we are also appealing to everyone to put all hands on deck so that we will be able to realize this vision, because without which it will be a mere document and it will not be operated as we expected it to happen. So thank you very much. On that, well, I say a big thank you to both donor agents, party leaders, and especially to our co-chairs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Alaji Mbayo, the Gambia Action Party, sitting here for IPC. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to profusely thank the architect of this document. And before the establishment of this very strategic plan, those who conceived the idea to have an IPC, an umbrella body who sits as an apex body to consolidate the rule of law and democracy. And today we are saying we are here to validate a strategic plan that will cover our efforts in the IPC to ensure that what we represent as stakeholders in the political arena is fulfilled. Once again, thank the co-chairs of the IPC for their tireless effort to ensure that this validation happens. And also thank the entire membership of the IPC, because without their ideas put together, such a document could not be crafted. Because I can fully remember that all the documents that have been crafted by IPC are done entirely by IPC. And I would like to congratulate the IPC for those concerted efforts to the realization of this document, created by an act of the National Assembly from the Consolidation Fund. I think we are entitled to this. Because after this validation, the congeniality for us to proceed will determine on how the IPC is funded. At the end of the day, if all these funding agencies cease to fund the IPC, there will not be a headway. And it will actually derail the efforts of the IPC in forging ahead. And I'll be very, very happy if actually this document is put into consideration and ensure that the National Assembly that's responsible for that formulation or legislation of those laws to be made or effective, so that the revenue of the IPC could come from the consolidation funds, which I think will pay dividends in promoting some of our agenda and programs and policies we have under the IPC. Once again, I would like to say thank you all, our donor partners who have been partnering with us since day one to now, are still continuing to partner with the IPC to ensure that we realize our goals. The UNDP and now the NDI also is coming up. We want to encourage them also to be with us as the way UNDP and ECOWAS has been doing the IPC. Thank you profusely once again for your attention.
My name is Buraman Jaite. I'm representing the party leader for GFA. So I would like to add my voice in thanking the co-chairs, members of the IPC, and the donors. Today marks a very important milestone in the journey of IPC. And going through the presentation, which summarizes the various efforts, activities, etc., that we have been journeying through from the beginning to now, would agree with me that really the journey has not been easy. But with determination, we are able to witness what we are witnessing today. So I would urge all the stakeholders not to feel tired. The challenges are still there, but with determination, we can move the mountain. So on that note, I would say thank you very much, and congratulations to IPC members and the stakeholders. May God bless IPC. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Follow lafta purka ko kiani purka afoiga nimbara. Ini IPC kolbe puralla nyindo kunyima ale min ketanting. Fenno mi yalon ko ngala political leader o political leader bijam. Abekele be sulolti and abekele be kontanolti purka e fon kafundi nyindo kunyima la ale min ketanting. It is well authored. And we want to thank you and the people who are behind this brilliant piece of document. It is also our assumption that if you put flesh to this skeleton, it will definitely help political parties. But equally, it is our assumption that whatever we're going to put in place will permeate to benefit the Gambian mass. I want to assure you that I am sure political parties, leaders, would like to associate themselves with such efforts, because it is long overdue for political parties to see division and also undertake a mission for them to come together, work together for the betterment of the Gambia, should be an effort that should be embraced by all. I am sure this particular inscription that is here before us has said it all. We are very good in formulating documents, but most times, our biggest area of failure is the issue of continuity. I am happy that you are coming with this particular part. It is the wish that this body will, in future, would love to be a statutory body that will be subvented or that will be supported by the government. There is a need for that. And ANRD would like to be part of that process. And I want to thank you and the people who are behind this brilliant piece of document. We are also waiting for it to be flushed so that we can start the implementation. We want to thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Good afternoon to you all. My name is Momodu Jallo, ANRD representative and IPC National. I will not say much because the document already has spoken itself, and then the various comments that we had from the various people has really given us the hope and the encouragement to pick it up. We are the 18 political parties that just recently registered, and we associate ourselves in the political arena. And then I think I've attended 2 to 3 different meetings with IPC, and I have the confidence that IPC is an institution that is inclusive and it is non-partisan. IPC, the time I have involved myself in their activities, I have seen this determination, this commitment in all the members. If IPC called for a meeting or an activity to be carried along, all the political parties representatives are fully participated. So, as Mr. Balde mentioned earlier on, I would like political leaders, political parties, to embrace this opportunity that we have. This is our opportunity. Going through the document, it started 2017. It was not operationalized during that period of time, based on certain reasons. Some of the reasons has been mentioned here, because of different parties or political party affiliation has taken us back way forward. We are thinking forward now, the way forward, and we can do it. This is the Gambia. All political parties that register to IEC have the interests of Gambia in their heart to develop Gambia. So IPC is here to consolidate that effort. And we can only do that when the political parties recognize our efforts, realizing that we are not supporting a political party, we are non-partisan, but we are there for all the political parties. And we will stand for that, and we will work together. As outlined through the activities, we started work already. Very soon you will see us in the field, following the registration process with the IEC. And this is the joint efforts that IPC undertake. And it is a venture that all political parties today here present have supported, and they all appreciate the idea. So I will not bother you with a speech, but I will encourage for all the political party leaders and everybody present here, our donors, our supporters, and those people that are watching us outside, and our West African region, we will be the #1 for them to emulate. 2016, we have taken a dictatorship in peaceful atmosphere, and today, the whole world is watching Gambia, and Gambia is a peaceful country, and we can do it. We can do it, we can do it. So I thank you all.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Dr. Ibrahim Jan, All People's Party. I must submit my name in the support that everyone here has given to creation of this document, especially to the co-chairs and also to our sponsors, UNDP, NDI, ECHO, etc., etc. Without any doubt, this document is indeed a roadmap for peaceful elections in the Gambia. Fundamentally, for me, these documents tells us and teaches us that there is no enmity, that we are not enemies. We are partners with the same interest. Peace and tranquility and progress with Gambia. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon once more. My name is Joseph Da Costa, GPDP. I'm sitting in for Honorable Henry Gomez. Just to add on to my colleague what they have said. As a party, I just want to reassure you, the IPC, that we are in support of your strategic plan, and we hope and pray that we will realize everything that is put here. And with us, we are in support of the IPC, and we are going to work with IPC, and we endorse your strategic plan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Apade Balde from the National Reconciliation Party, NRP. It is not usual to have such a validation without much controversy or controversial in that document. However, as most of you have just said, the only thing we have to say is thank you and a job well done that the co-chairs with their team have done. This is all for the interest of peace and stability of this country. And as I look behind me, I see a lot of youths. The only advice I have is to use the best, to have the best use of this opportunity. Having such co-chairs and the members of the inter-party committee with their commitment, not for themselves, it's for you people. The peace and stability of this country that people are talking about is for the young people of this country. You must understand you can't enjoy anything in the absence of peace. Therefore, my advice is that always, wherever you are, think of the peace and stability of this country. And this is why we are here as brothers and sisters from different parties, but we are of the same person and the same Gambia. There is no one who is from another Gambia. We are all from one Gambia. Therefore, it is our collective responsibility to work together collectively to maintain the peace and stability of this country. With what the IPC members have done, with the job that they have put before us, this is something that we all have to emulate. And as party leaders, I want to assure you that we all who are seated here and those who are absent for one reason or another, I'm sure when they see this document, it's the same approval that they are going to give. I'm very certain of that, because we have always been together. And anytime the IPC call party leaders, we are ready to answer to your call, because we are the people who have assigned you to do that, and you are also the people who have assigned you in another way. Therefore, we will assure you that we will continue supporting you at all times. And with what we have now in this document, like the regional committees, I think they have been waiting for so long. And they are ready to commit themselves to join you people, to work with you people, hand in hand, and get the benefit of this document. It cannot be done without commitment. It cannot be done without sitting together and including each other, accepting each other in political tolerance. There is nothing more than that. Therefore, I will assure you, the National Reconciliation Party, which has been with the Inter-Party Committee since the time of initiative, we are together with you until the last time of whatever would happen. And with what you are talking about the National Assembly, or with the budgeting or funding of the IPC, I think this will not be delayed until when these 5-year strategy plans get into, when it fails out, then we start to pass it to the National Assembly. We will be trying and pushing to get funds. It will be difficult. Let's start it right now. Let this document go to the National Assembly. Where necessary, let it be passed and be adopted. That's my advice. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Anyone?
Good afternoon. I'm Mia Consise, representing Democratic Party and an IPC member too. On behalf of Democratic Party, our party leader, Yusuf Doumbia, we are in support of this strategy plan. Thank you all.
Jërëjëf maa ngi tudd Almami Fanding Tall maa ngi represent party leader United Democratic Party His Excellency Ousainou Darboe man it maa ngi bokk ci ñiy sargal di jaajëfal co-chairs yi ci liggéey biñ def ba binda kayit boo xam ne ñëpp ñu ngi bokk di ko tagga ñu ngi bokk tamit di wone kontaante biñ am ci liggéey bi waaye kenn ci co-chairs yi foog naa ne Gambia moom ñu ngi dëkk rek di ko tagga ndax liggéeyam ak taxawaayam ci yóbbu réew mi ci kanam dem na ci lu ëpp ñetti fukki at ñun bi ñoo nekk ay waxambaane yu ndaw a ndaw ay ndongo daara gis nañ ko dégg nañ ko ba pare tamit rek pour wax ñi fi dajee ne ñun Gambia fii liñ miin mooy élection ci jaama Gambia liñ miin ak liñ fi xamoon mooy élection dafa ñëw ñu nekk di daw dem ci rali bi jóge ci rali bale dem ci rali bale kenn xamutoon xuloo ak xeex waaye ñaar fukki at ak ñaar yi fi Yaya Jammeh nekkoon isi na ñagas yu bari te kontaan naa trop li tax party leader of PDOIS wax ne suñ strategic plan bi du pour ëllëg rek pour démbala tey ak ëllëg dafa baax rek su fekkee ne ñu ngi bokk daje ci jotaay yu mel nii ñuy waxante dëgga te dëgga bi mooy ne 1997 constitution bi ci boppam taxawal na ay institutions yu bari NCC bi si la bokka NCCE bi taxawal na ombudsman bi pour wone ne Gambia lu ñoo def yépp su fekkee ne am nañ sax dispute wala am nañ disagreement war nañoo mun a am institutions yu ñoo régler gis nañ ne tamit strategic plan bi mu ngi wax ne dinañ jéem pour ñu nekk statutory agency mooy agency boo xam ne National Assembly bi moo ko taxawal su ko taxawalee ba pare dépassam mu ngi jóge ci poos yi nit ñi yii yëpp lu rafet la waaye I just wanted to add that we should be very, very strategic not to have institutional proliferation just for the sake of it. Building institutions now and designing institutions must be a creative process that will add value to our democratization. If we have the National Human Rights Commission, we have the NCCE, we have the Ombudsman's Office. Their mandates and their missions seems to be very similar. And this is a heavy cost to the national purse. Yes, we should try when we have our institutions to be self-reliant, to be self-sustaining. But I think our development partners, our donor partners, are really that. They are partners. And we should use as much of the opportunities that they present to incorporate them into our development processes. Our development processes are what really needs attention, because most of the activities I foresee for the inter-party committee, capacity building of the members of the committee, that is important. Interns, it is important. But already there are structures nationally, whether it's at the schools, at the university, at GTTI, at MDI, where capacity building can be done. If you choose to join a political party, if you want to participate in nation building, you should, as much as possible, use the nationally sanctioned institutions to build your capacity and present a program or be part of a program of a political party to be able to effectively deliver development. So really, I just want us in our happiness at this outstanding work to be a little bit more ambitious, to see how the inter-party can be a platform for development across the board, to respond to the challenges of the country, whether it's by participating also in policy formulation, in the development of the executive arm. To be honest with you, the UNDP is helping a lot. Other institutions are helping a lot directly to the government, the World Bank, the IMF, but most of their validation of national policies, political parties are not invited or are not included. At least now that we have an IPC, it should be possible for the IPC to represent all the political parties. Because I'm also a little wary when people are discussing multi-party democracy, talking about non-partisanship. We have to talk about bipartisanship, multi-partisanship, so that the respect that political parties deserve do not disappear in this talk that we are going to do this on a non-partisan basis. I think our language should be more inclusive. Political parties cannot be minimized in the development process because all political parties are governments in waiting. And I think when an inter-party secretariat is established, everything that the government is doing, we have a right to be at the table, to participate in the formulation of the programs and policies, and as much as possible to recruit technology in the processes of development. And not only for the sake of the members of the inter-party committee, but for the sake of the development of the Gambia. So I think overall the UDP confirm and affirm its support to these efforts and congratulate all of us for involving in this. But it's time for innovation. It's time to look to the future by making sure that all our institutions add value to our democratization process, but also add value to the development process that we are all so desirous of having in the Gambia. I thank you very much, Honorable Salah, for an excellent work done.
Good morning. Sorry, good afternoon. My name is Ibrahim Abuja, representing GMC. As other speakers mentioned, I congratulate and thank the IPC members, and especially the co-chairmen and all other members, political parties in different areas. Okay, this is a very important strategic plans. GMC has a party. We are very, very happy about this. And then we just want to thank the political leaders because of the confidence and the trust they have on us. That's why all these things are going smoothly. Then from there too, we all know everything starts at one step because IPC is doing a lot of things to formulate these strategies, and everybody knows their conduct and everybody knows what they are doing. Then on that note, I want to thank the co-chairmen and the IPC members and all the political leaders for putting their hands together to strengthen the strategic plans and all their agendas in process. I thank you all.
Good afternoon, everyone present here. I'll keep it short and simple. Agreeing to what everyone has said previously, I would just like to add that we thank you all, first of all. And second, I would like to say that by development and like he said and everyone else, that we need to go further and we need to develop. I think the most crucial thing about this strategic plan is to be consistent. In a world full of inconsistency, consistency is what's very important and essential. Once we have that, we can be able to carry out everything that we set our mind to, everything that we've put as a goal to reach. So I say, as we all agree to stand with the IPC, let's all have consistency to be able to carry out everything that we are in support of with the IPC. I thank you all.
Good afternoon. My name is Alkali Danfa, representing NCP. First of all, I must thank Honorable Halifa Sallah and Honorable Amul Nyasi and the whole entire IPC members for creating such an environment. I want to thank the UNDP, the ECOWAS, and all the institutions who have all contributed immensely towards the successful constitution of this committee. I thank everybody, and I thank the government too, to create a conducive environment to making this occasion successful. I thank everybody. Thank you all.
Good afternoon. I'm Simon Mendy, a representative of NCPA and a member of IPC. In this gathering, I thank the IPC for inaugurating such kind of venture, at least to bring the Gambian together in form of political arena, in terms of developing the Gambia in peace and tranquility in the Gambia. As party, we NCP are in full force in the support of IPC, the strategic plan and the aims development of the Gambia in terms of bringing political parties together in the Gambia. And in IPC, what we are seeing in our level is not the party level, but the Gambia at large. Thank you so much.
Any other person? Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Fatmata Fati, representing GMC. Well, just to cut it short, we've heard it from the previous speakers, or all that have a comment here. I think what we need to consider for now is all IPC members from the national level to the UBIC, and also the proposed women IPC. I think the most important thing here we should consider is the commitment in front of us, but how do we implement it is the question. And the human resource is the most important thing in every institution. If the human resource or the capacity is there, but then the commitment, if it is been lacked, we wouldn't be able to achieve our goal. So on that note, I'm appealing to all IPC national members, the youth representatives, to make sure that whenever an event is to be held, we have to respect the time. We have to make sure that we are always there when we are called, because most of the time our activities are being delayed based on these reasons. So we cannot continue, doing the same thing. We have to change our attitude. Without changing the attitude, we won't move. So I thank you all.
My name is Aryan Kubasane, representing PDYS. I'll start by saying, may those that crafted this document continue to live long so that they continue to guide us along the way. These documents, what I learned from this document is telling us that being on different political camps does not or should not amount to enmity. Political opponents are not necessarily enemies to one another. It is simply that they have different perception of how to run the country. They all profess to love. Those that crafted these documents, we have seen the love you have for this country. Thank you very much.
I ask the question. Do we adopt the document as the strategic plan of the IPC? Yes. If so, I would want someone from your end to move as if we are in Parliament, that we adopt the document. Now there is competition for the motion. So whoever stands first can do so. I stand. It seems like we have it from Ajayam, secondment. I second it. It has to be gender balance. There is gender balance. Yeah. Gender balance. Let the ladies move the motion. Well, the motion has been made already. Yeah, adopted. Okay, so we have the motion moved and seconded. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those not in favor say no. Unanimously adopted. Thank you very much. That is the closing remark, that we are speaking with one voice. And as long as we continue to speak with one voice, we will succeed. And if we succeed, the nation succeeds. Someone has said it very clearly. We may have different strategies on how to build a nation, but ultimately all of us would want a successful nation. So in that regard, we do not need to preach anyone what we all know. What we need to do is to inspire each other so that we do what we are supposed to do in order to ensure that this nation triumphs in peace to serve all of us. And I hope that as we leave this hall today, we'll be proud of ourselves that we have come here to be critical, very critical, because each of us is so independent in thinking that none of us can dominate the other. So we can only tame each of us by pointing out the truth that none of us can deny. And if the truth comes that no one can deny, we'll be united behind the truth, and the truth will set us free. Thank you very much for all the encouragement, and we'll continue to serve you to the best of our capacity in the context of our times. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now I will call on the co-chair, the Right Honorable Halifa Saleh, to take you through the press conference. Thank you very much.
This is your day, the media. So we leave everything to you to mention the name of your media house, your name, and ask the question that you wish to ask about the IPC. Bear in mind that the IPC, Inter-Party Committee, is the committee that is holding the press conference. So the focus should be on the IPC. Any member of the media?
Yes.
Yes.
Yankuba Jallo, Foreign newspaper. Good. You intend to monitor the voter registration. Then you would like to know how you intend to do it and when are you starting? Since this is an urgent matter and the process has begun today.
Thank you very much. We set up a committee, and there's a multi-partisan committee, and the committee has done its groundwork. It has examined the number of registration teams established by the IEC. It has looked at the regional composition of those teams, and we have agreed that we should assign 2 members of the IPC to follow each registration team. We've decided to divide the number of registration teams among the 18 political parties, and we were just simply waiting finally for support financially in order to start work. All stakeholders have been asked to communicate our plan to the leadership of their parties so that they will be able to select 25 members from their parties who ultimately will be dispatched together for each team to follow the registration process from the 29th to the 14th of July. Of course, the funding is now being pursued with vigor, and our partners have shown interest in funding, and we hope that as early as Monday, Tuesday, we should be able to get the green light. Once that is there, then we expect that the composition of this monitoring team would be highlighted, and we'll start the process in earnest to monitor the registration exercise. Well, our colleague said from a multi-partisan basis or a non-partisan basis, the idea really is to ensure that those who go there do not go in the name of a single political party, but will go there in the name of the Inter-Party Committee and will be guided by the vision and mission of the Inter-Party Committee. So that is really the idea. So there will be a template for them to prepare them in terms of values, in terms of representation. We will be printing T-shirt of the Inter-Party Committee. All the identification will be the Inter-Party Committee and not their individual political parties. That is in process.
Thank you very much. Good
And IEC has well said that they are waiting to issue the permit for that to be the first exercise that had ever happened in this country, and hopefully that will be the way forward for the future.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Keba A.F. Toure, a reporter with the Foreign newspaper. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate the IPC on this milestone achievement, because as far as I am a very young guy, but this is the first of its kind in this country. So I say congratulations to you, and I wish you all the best in your struggles. So coming to the question, from deliberations, there is the need to make sure that the IPC becomes a statutory body. So the question now is, how do we, how soon do we expect to see this document before the lawmakers? Because I believe when that is done, it will expedite the process of making sure that the IPC becomes a statutory body, and then when that is done, there is greater chance of the IPC, getting the needed support in terms of financial support from the government and other donors to continue in its, operations. So how do we, how soon do we expect to see the document in the National Assembly? Thank you.
Well, a strategic plan is a declaration of intent. And to actualize it requires proper identification of all the stakeholders who are necessary for its implementation. In terms of lawmaking, a bill is introduced in the National Assembly by a member of the executive, Minister, Vice President, President, or a member of the National Assembly. The member of the National Assembly could come as a private member introducing a bill, or it can come to a committee level with a committee of the National Assembly introducing the bill. So in that regard, one is yet to establish where the bill is going to emanate. Since the government, in most instances, will ultimately have to prepare the budget that is approved by the National Assembly, there is need for involvement of the stakeholders, both government and National Assembly, in explaining our plan and getting them motivated to agree with the plan. But as has rightly been said, once you have the plan, now we must move to the stage of consultation among ourselves so that we develop a strategy of how to actualize it. And that discussion has started today. But as you can see, there is desire to move forward. Some are uttering caution because of the type of institutions that exist in the country aim at addressing injustice, but some have highlighted that the IPC is unique in this respect, that it is dealing with all the parties, including a ruling party in the country. So in that respect, we still need to convince each other that going the statutory way is in the best interest of the country and the IPC. And I'm sure that we've already seen the goodwill, and not anyone would take much convincing for us to move on the path of statutory establishment of the IPC, by virtue of the fact that we have seen it right here. We want to monitor registration, but unless we have donor support, we will not be able to actually do so. So it means that even though you can establish as a statutory institution, it will give a greater recognition to the institution by so doing, and therefore donors may actually contribute more for its survival as a result of that high level establishment of the institution as a state sponsored institution. So we will be looking into that issue more and more. But we hopefully will be moving in that direction for survival purposes. We're saying there can be no sustainability as long as we depend on donor support.
Good afternoon to you all. I am Aladi Fati from Star TV. I have two questions that I want to ask, and then the first one will go to the co-chair of the ICP. That is because we've seen in this country, whenever the atmosphere is very cool, calm, like how we are here, we all agree on certain things. But when things go in the other way around, it becomes a problem that we start to blame each other here. And then we all agree that the work of ICP here today, ICP, sorry, that the presentation was great. That's what I understand from all the representatives in the House here today. But we know again, the IPC2 are going to allow the political parties, that is the political players in the country, to go back to their political parties, and I guess even before going to the parliament. So in case, if the political parties decided otherwise, will that affect your work that you've drafted, that your presentation here today? And the second point is that the political leaders are here. They are all key players in our politics. And then majority of them agree. I would say here, you all agree unanimously that it is a good job. So, is there been any document that is written that everybody signed here before leaving this hall? That's what I want to know.
Well, thank you very much. We are giving you updates of the development of the IPC. You've seen the history. And we must emphasize to you that since the revitalization process started, there has always been harmony and unity and drive to address common challenges. I'm sure that later on we'll be able to document the history of the IPC, even after the arrest of certain political leaders and the efforts they made during that period to really give backing to their release. I must say that the IPC has always spoken with one voice to deal with all complicated national issues. It's just that we have not given the efforts much publicity, and maybe they will receive them now. What we have said should be clear to journalists. We are not focusing on the statutory dimension of the IPC. That is a phase in its development. And we identify that there is the risk of donor fatigue and therefore a lack of sustainability. That is why we are considering that as an option in terms of strategic planning. But what is emphasized is that the IPC had to have instruments to legitimize itself. And that has already, the instruments have already been crafted, reviewed, adopted, and signed. We'll share those instruments with you. They are now registered at the Registry General, thus transforming the IPC into a corporate body which can engage in any form of relation, national and international. That was signed by each of the party leaders. That document creates the basis of the strategic plan. So in actual fact, we do have instruments signed by the party leaders showing their commitment to the existence of the IPC. What is necessary now is to look at the strategic plan. These are implementation documents. It gives you idea what you want to do, how you want to do it, and then what you need to be able to do it. That's what we are engaged in now. That is to institutionalize and operationalize the IPC. We have the headquarters now. You need a staff there. You need to engage in procurement. You need to engage in sensitization. So that's what we are talking about. That we have adopted the strategic plan in order for it to guide us to institutionalize and operationalize the IPC. I hope that is clear.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I want to thank each and everyone present here for what you have delivered here. Okay, my question is very simple. I just want to ask, why and how do you guys come up with the idea of IPC? Thank you.
Well, we have said that when the Independent Electoral Commission was established in 1997, the then chairman,
was confronted with the issues that were left behind by the Provisional Independent Electoral Commission, where parties will complain of unfairness in treatment and many other complaints. They started the process of consultation with the opposition, with the political parties in general, ruling and opposition, by convening meetings at the IEC during the time of the Provisional Independent Electoral Commission. So that was institutionalized when the Independent Electoral Commission was established in 1997, and as I have rightly said, they continued to build up that consultation with the political parties up to 2000, when the then chairman and the commission saw the need to institutionalize a form of consultative forum between the IEC and the political parties, and among the political parties themselves. It was not called the IPC, Inter-Party Committee. The term Inter-Party Committee came after there was an alliance among political parties which gave birth to the National Alliance for Democracy and Development, that is NAD. And the leaders were arrested in 2005. Therefore, the Commonwealth, the AU, and ECOWAS collaborated to take part in addressing that conflict. And President Obasanjo was sent to be a mediator. It is out of that mediation that the Inter-Party Committee was first established to be a forum for dialogue and cooperation or consultation between the political parties in the country. I have said it, that from the strategic plan that it almost became defunct because of conflicts of interest, and it was in 2015 2016, ahead of the presidential election, that UNDP consulted with the political parties and the IEC to see whether one could revitalize the Inter-Party Committee that had become defunct. And it is out of that consultation in 2016, from April onwards, that eventually gave rise to another draft memorandum of understanding and a code of conduct for the revitalization and coming into operation of the IPC that you see today. Ultimately, we almost signed the memorandum of understanding after the draft prior to the elections of 2016. Everything was arranged for signature, but eventually the head of state decided not to go on with the signing, and therefore it could not come into being until 7th March 2017, after a new dispensation had actually taken over office. I hope we have made the history clear.
Thank you very much. My name is Binta Jala from iAfrica TV. We are coming to election, or going towards election, and it's a very crucial moment. What are some of the measures put in place to avoid conflict during campaigns and also during elections? And also, how do you intend to popularize your code of conduct? Thank you very much.
Yes, we have said that we have 3 measures in place. One measure is the actual crafting of the code of conduct and sensitization of its content among the population at large and among party members. We have sensitization teams, monitoring teams that have started to work in moving into the regions and holding meetings with groups. We had many focus group discussions with many groups all over the country, and we intend to intensify that process. We have seen the need to translate the MOU into our national languages and to share its content with schools and educational institutions, especially the secondary, tertiary levels. So that is also a part of the plan to ensure that there is dissemination of the content to the larger population. There are many plans that we have with the leaders as well as with the membership. You know that IPC comprises 2 representatives from each of the registered political parties and an alternate. We have been holding breakfast meetings with the leaders so that they could share certain opinions on issues of national importance. And that is going to continue on an activity that may be quarterly to ensure that there is interaction between the political leadership in the country to avoid friction more and more. There is also the desire to move to the other level, that is allowing the IPC itself, its membership, to work in common to address certain common concerns in the political terrain. One was the election bill, that we had to bring the IPC members to review the bill and make suggestions. We also have the registration exercise that is coming. There is a plan to bring members together again to do the monitoring on the platform of the IPC. And it goes on and on. Many cases also had occurred which reflected conflicts between political parties that were brought to the IPC's attention, and some were even leading to court cases and police cases. And of course, the IPC had intervened in those cases to ensure that sanity prevailed. Of course, in terms of mediation, the issues are always demand-driven. Someone must lodge a complaint, then the IPC will look into the complaint and based on its competencies and capacity to try to address those complaints. So we believe that as its providers increases, many of our members will begin to rely on it to address some of the conflict areas that exist within the political domain.
Thank you very much. I am Omar Ba, reporter with the Standard newspaper. My first question would be a follow-up to Yankuba Jallo's question with regards to the voter registration. We know a lot have been said over the past months and weeks about the possibility of voter fraud, registering foreigners, among other things. Now that the IPC is likely to have representatives in these different voter registrations, we hope probably that the idea might be there has to be something behind that idea. I just want to know whether the IPC, sorry, where there are complaints from these representatives in different voter registration centers, whether you are going to take action about those complaints, and what are you going to do with those complaints. The other thing is a follow-up to Madam Jallo's question. There is a lot of anxiety ahead of December, and it's just a little over 6 months to go. Probably what she wanted to know is what are the political party leaders, and of course this include the IPC, doing in terms of mobilizing yourself, discussing in terms of the kind of messaging you would expect during the campaign, and of course on election day, to ensure that we go to the polls in peace and leave the polls in peace without any conflict. Thank you.
Well, I believe the concrete actions are already evident. Number one is this forum for adoption of the strategic plan, and you've seen the vision and mission of the strategic plan. So essentially, that's what the IPC is doing. It is creating a forum for dialogue and consultation, and that is in place. We've told you that there is already consultation on monitoring the registration process. And if we work together to do that, you will see the harmony built to be able to address all the problems that may come. That is the way forward. We are building that consultation, that dialogue among the political parties in order to address the issues you have mentioned. Number two, you have asked the question, what we will do if our monitors see things at the registration centers. Well, essentially, observers at registration centers are supposed to take down notes of any observation that may fall foul of the law. And we will have every right to file objections to any nomination or any registration that is outside the ambit of the law. That is what our monitors would do, that is to fully prepare them to know exactly what you need to be registered as a voter. You need to be 18 years. You need to be a Gambian citizen. You need also to be a resident or born in the constituency that you are being registered. So there are certain benchmarks that they will observe and listen whether proper scrutiny is done before the claims are approved. They'll be well trained to be able to do that. And should they see any anomaly, well, they will note it down and then objections could be filed thereafter. That's how the registration process should go. I hope we have answered your question. Any other media house that wants to raise questions? Okay, do we take one more, two more questions, then we close for lunch?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I'm Fatou Marina from Hilltop Radio. The question I want to ask the IPC committee, any association or community to form, there must be challenges. What were the challenges of IPC forming this community?
Yeah, the challenges are many. Key to them is actual resource constraint. We had the objective of sensitizing the Gambian population way in 2017, but of course resource constraint had been a problem at some instance. Then the issue of legitimizing the IPC itself. Yes, it can operate as an association, but many partners could not deal with the association directly because of its legal status. We could not even open up a bank account because of legal status. So we had to go to the level of registration of the IPC as an association of political parties at the Registry General. Of course, to get all the party leaders to sign up to that was also a problem. So it took quite a lot of time before confidence could be built with the party leaders to know that this IPC serves all and it should be strengthened to continue to serve all. I must say that the confidence that has been built over the years is now yielding dividend. We are now getting maximum cooperation from the political leaders, and I am sure that that cooperation will increase as the IPC register successes after success.
Love like fire. Wow. bi xam ngeen fan la skincare la 2020 lañ wax de waaw fii nag mooy Kerr fan Kerr zero tache perfect skincare saa su ne rek niñ ko dee defee rek loo lañ soxlaati rek maanaam bu dee am problème ci seen skin yéen xam ngeen fan la fii ngeen di ñëw suma xarit yeeg am di jàmm yi nga xam ne taas daf lañ sonaloon xam nga doon xeesal ba la ka xum éneew ma lañ ko nag waaye just in case comme ni ko gars yi di waxee rek en cas just in case loolu xew xam ngeen fi ngeen di ñëw skincare plus si yu baax rek la ñoo dox nag ay baax rek fu ne la ñoo dem ci réew mi di lañ indi rek nag products yu baax du Paris du Italie du USA du fi mu nekk nii sax boole nañ ci nag Sweden fu nekk lañ leen a indilee products bu dee tamit nag da nga ñuul rek ñu lay jamaa natural beauty that melanin dripping we do have stuff for you as well emuñ si skincare products rek ñu ngi ci cuub yi tamit fu ne la ñoo jaar in fact sax last commercial bi ñu defoon waxuñ leen woon ne dañoo dox ci ay kawar 9A grade rek nag waaw we do have bundles as well hair si lu ne la ñoo dox ñun ñu ngi ci rafetal jigéen rek luy taaral jigéen rek waaw boo leen di tukki tamit bëggoon rek classic suitcase ñu dañoo dox ci ay Samsonite duñ dee indi any brand of suitcases though other than Samsonite comme li ma dee wax rek boo eggee airport dëri Samsonite dafa am nuñ laa xoolee waaw ngeen ne lan nag waaw skin ci moom la ñu gën a xamee nag skincare products ci moom la ñu gën a xamee ñu ngi dox tamit bentee tamit si ay dàlla man waaye man nag skincare mooy suma specialty xam nga rek jigéen bu sa xar kanam réglé loo def mu jag am nañ Patricia Reiner Kiwi Eye the whole range Lighten Up Gold Tomatine I mean the list can just go on and on and on and on lépp loo xam ne rek luy taaral jigéen la ci yooyu rek la ñoo dox skincare plus nag emuñ si Gambia rek ñu nga United States ñu ngi Gambia fii ba pare bu dee yaa ngi anywhere in Europe mun nañ la ko mail within 3 days rek ñetti fan rek nga jot say diw emuñ si loolu rek dañ laa consult tamit balaa ñu laa jaay diw dinañ def a free consultation pour wax la rek exactly li nga xam ne moo méngoo ak sa kanam dinañ leen wax tamit ne rek am nañ perfumes fragrances men's shirts accessories we do dresses as well we do blouses I mean we do shoes name it we do them Skincare Plus 2020 is our year of perfection zero task fi mu nekk nii réew mi fii kenn waratu fi task kenn waratu fi am problème kanam kenn waratu fi am problème yu picca boo ko amee dafa fekk ne rek ñëwuloo ci place bi fii
love like fire bring my yoboguma love like fire
Agada.
Mbijan aganyadi.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyenje.
Okay. Korsa. Nsila ID soto.
Ah, sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
mbare.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi topoto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi mani domorol dil fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo nga fa kendol sotale je.
Wo mo yo diat ha.
Apelenta
baraka ba. Ni ma lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.